Alrighty, what is happening, people? This is Avidan. Welcome to the Avidan Direct Chillcast, episode 12. We have the Chillcast is pretty chill tonight. We have a new guest, a special new guest, one who's the first time ever on the cast. So I'm gonna let the people introduce themselves, and we are gonna go for starting with the new guest. Sure, most of you know him, Rob from Rule of Two Review.
Yo, what's up, guys? Thanks so much, Avidan, for having me on the stream. Good to meet everyone. Yeah, I'm Rob. My channel is Rule of Two Review, and yeah, I talk gaming and Nintendo and all sorts of good stuff. So I'm really pumped to do the thing with you guys tonight.
All right. So, oh, and by the way, guys, the panels, their link to their YouTube channel is in the description down below. So make sure you go ahead and check that out. And throughout the chat, I'll just throw out some of their links so you could be reminded to check out their channels and give them a sub if you are not subbed already. Next on the list, we will have Your Player 2.
Hey, what's up, guys? Josh here, Your Player 2. You know, Avidan, obviously, thanks for having me on again. Appreciate it. My channel is all about basically helping other gamers take their channel to the next level. And I usually do that with YouTube tips on Monday, production and gear tips on Friday, and then usually doing multiplayer streams on Wednesday just for fun. You know, work hard, play hard, that kind of thing. So if you're down for Mario Kart or Splatoon 2 and stuff like that, maybe swing by on a Wednesday.
All right. And Rax.
Well, I'm Rax. I'm here all the time, so if you don't know who I am, yeah, I'm sorry.
No, he's not.
Dude, I'm always here. Do I really need to introduce myself every single
You
time?
must introduce every time. It's part of the clause. You got to do it.
Hello, guys. I'm Rax the Great. I run a great YouTube channel called Rax the Great. If you like gaming stuff, make sure to come subscribe to Rax the Great.
It's pretty great.
It's pretty great.
That should be your opening trailer.
No.
Yeah, man.
But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and give some quick shout outs. Judge, the first comment here, what's going on, Judge? William Gamer, what's going on, man? Nintendo Direct, what's going on? Happy birthday to Nintendo Direct. My dude is now 30.
Happy birthday, man.
Yeah,
Jake and Bacon was good. What's good, everyone? So we're gonna just jump right into today's topics and Gamescom 2018. Now they had a lot of trailers, some that I'm hyped for, some that you guys are hyped for, and they have, let's see, Resident Evil 2 trailers, they had Jump Force, they had Devil May Cry 5, they had a plethora of trailers. I'm most hyped for Daemon X Machina and Jump Force. Those are the top two trailers that I said, you know, I'm ready to give my money day one for. But I want to hear what you guys are, well, my cast are most hyped for, because I didn't get a chance to talk with you guys throughout the week about Gamescom rather, and I want to talk to you guys about that right here. So go ahead, Josh.
So the things that I'm most excited for from Gamescom, and I had to actually check out some of the trailers beforehand because I did not spend as much time with Gamescom as I did E3 coverage. But Dying Light 2 is definitely something that I'm really excited for. I really dug the first Dying Light, mainly because, you know, it's hard to do that feeling of dread in, I think, like an open world, but I think Evil Within 2 does it really well, and I think Dying Light did it really well. And it's weird to have a game that can sort of really well balance sort of a serene sort of post-apocalyptic setting where it almost looks beautiful during the daytime and it gets flat out horrifying at night. So I'm very excited to kind of see, you know, what new features they're going to add to it, how much that's going to be refined in the next generation. Other than that, and that's the thing, I don't know, this may not even be a Gamescom trailer, but I saw it this week, so I'm going to shout it out anyways. The new Spider-Man trailer where it showed open world New York and what that looks like, and him talking to Jay Jonah, can't get enough of it. And the
that
thing
was tough.
Yeah, and the thing that got me most hyped for that is that two key locations I noticed right off the bat is we get to see the Sancta Sanctorum and Avengers Tower in that trailer, and I was like, yep, I cannot wait until September 7th when that comes out.
Me either.
I really can't wait to see that, man. That's gonna be a fun game.
Yeah.
I've got the system pre-ordered and the special edition with the statue.
It's a lot of money.
I wish I'd pre-ordered the special edition. I missed it.
I'm too broke.
I got the PlayStation 4 pre-ordered though. I am getting that.
Nice. Yeah, I'm one of the weirdos when it comes to Spider-Man, because Spider-Man's like my favorite comic book character. I love all the movies. Tobey Maguire's great. I don't care what the haters say. Love all the Spider-Man movies. And like, I know this game is going to be so good, but I'm just like not hyped for it. So but I know it's going to be great. And like
we've also been burned by a lot of Spider-Man games, so I can totally understand why you would not be hyped. You know what I mean?
Here's like why I think we know this game is going to be good, and this applies like to many other games like this, because this one is not a movie tie-in. That's the reason that the Batman Arkham games worked, because they weren't tied in with any movies. They were just random Batman games.
True.
And this Spider-Man game is not tied to anything movie-wise, like the really crappy like Iron Man games and stuff they did. So, I mean, that beyond the fact that we can just tell that they're going to kill it with this game, the fact that they're not trying to crunch it out for a movie release, it's not a movie game. It's a Spider-Man game, and I just know it's going to be good for that reason.
I think that's why I'm most hyped for it, because it takes me back to the Maximum Carnage, Separation Anxiety, Spider-Man versus Kingpin days. Those are the games that I grew up playing. So it's like seeing this game in a newer form. It's kind of like seeing Batman back then. It's like same style. So it's like I see Spider-Man and Batman going back and forth with the same type of retro gaming. They're doing the same thing in the new generation. And people are saying this is like an Arkham knockoff. I'm like, not really. There's more mechanics in this game that I feel as though could possibly, don't quote me on this, well, no, quote me on this, possibly do better than Arkham.
Even if it was an Arkham ripoff, I'm fine with that. Arkham was great. So rip it off all you want, as long as it's awesome.
That's true.
Exactly. Rax?
What?
Did you have anything you want to add about Gamescom?
Oh, Gamescom, yeah. Sorry, the spaghetti got to me. I mean, so like a buddy of mine is actually out there and sent me footage of DMC5, and the amount of detail that is just like on the atmosphere in terms of, say, there was a part where Nero's walking down like the street, and it was like cobblestone streets, and there was like water on the cobblestone, and he was walking down, the lighting hitting the water on the cobblestone. It was just insane. The game looks absolutely beautiful. There's a lot of like destructible environment aspects of the game as well. So that game looks absolutely incredible. I actually am probably even more hyped for it now since I've seen that actual gameplay footage. I wasn't really crazy, like I wasn't really super hyped for it before seeing that, but now after seeing that, I'm really excited about that. Another thing was Jump Force. Yeah. After I saw the trailer with Light Yagami and Ryuk at the top of the building looking down on everybody fighting, that had me instantly hooked anyway.
I think didn't they confirm that they're not playable in the game though, or am I wrong on that?
I don't know if they're confirmed as well. I don't really even care if it's so here's my I'm actually glad you said that. So everything that is about this game, they're saying that multiple worlds are colliding and something is happening to create all of these worlds to come together. I'm wondering if maybe they're putting some sort of spin on it, that Light is writing in the Death Note all of these things that make all these worlds come together, because it doesn't really make sense for him to be a fighter unless Ryuk is out in front fighting as Light's in the background going yeah, and then he punches him in the face. So
maybe he's like the puppet master kind of thing. Is that what
almost? Yeah. So cool. It sounds like there's no real details that I've seen have come across that have laid out what the storyline is going to be, what the whole main drive as to why these people are fighting each other. But yeah, like I don't really care to see him as a playable character. It doesn't really make sense. But just seeing him in the storyline gets me driven to want to play the game and see what's going on, because the people that I'm probably going to be playing with are probably Luffy, Goku, and Frieza, and all those characters anyway. So I'm just excited to see how it turns out. I just hope that it's a lot better than J-Stars, because I was really hyped for J-Stars at first, and then actually playing the game, my hype level went like that in the matter of like 30 minutes of playing it. So
I would say for me, Jump Force being one of the games I'm most hyped for, I really want to see what they're going to do with characters like Blackbeard. I want to see what they're going to do with Gon. You see Gon is in his final form. The fact that we get Hunter x Hunter in this game, Hisoka and Gon in the game confirmed, has got me hyped. So it makes me think, are they going to add Killua? Most likely they will if they're going to add Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z. And then aside from that game, looking at Daemon X Machina, I think that's probably one of the most games I'm excited for the Switch in 2019 right now. Possibly more hyped for that game than Pokemon, the new RPG, because this is like, for me, I love mech games. Mech games that are done right. You know, this game looks like it's gonna have some elements of Xenoblade Chronicles X, which I'm hoping we get a port of soon, which possibly that may be one of the games they may announce at the new Nindies. Well, that's Nindies, never mind. They may get that announced at a new Nintendo Direct, rather. Hopefully, I'm hoping, but I really want to see more mech games like this come to the Switch, and more games that are high-powered like this. And as far as Jump Force that comes to the Switch, I'm fine with that. I have a good computer and a PS4 I can choose from to play a game like that. So, as far as...
said Nintendo Direct, by the way.
I said Nintendo Direct?
He said...
You know what? Today's his birthday.
Nintendo Switch?
Today's his birthday. My bad. So my bad. He's in the chat. I see his name right there.
You got some extra live.
So, but Nintendo Direct. So hopefully we'll see that come up soon. So, all right. But that's pretty much all I have to say about Gamescom. Gamescom has kept me busy. They had a Smash Invitational, so I got to see more King K. Rool gameplay, which he's gonna be a beast in that game.
Yeah, he's gonna be real good to beat up with Simon and Richter Belmont. It's gonna be a lot of fun, just smashing his face in with Simon and Richter Belmont. Yeah.
I think Rax is officially getting smashed day one now.
What about Dark Samus, Rob?
Dude, I'm all over. Dude, I've been crying for Dark Samus
right?
and freaking Smash for so long. And when that happened, I mean, I had to wake up to the news because I was asleep when the thing happened, but I was like, holy crap, I can't believe they finally freaking did it. And like, she's an Echo Fighter, and like, I know some people are complaining about that, and it's like, it's kind of a bummer she's an Echo Fighter, but I'm not gonna like look a gift horse in the mouth. It's like, hey, Dark Samus is it. It's not like pick Samus and just make her suit black. It's there is Dark Samus and there is Samus, and it's like that's the best way to do it. Because before, that's what you would do. You would just change Samus's suit color and like tell yourself you're Dark Samus. But now it's like a real thing. So I'm pumped. I love it.
Nice, nice. Some comments in the chat. KEG said the art style of the game, I'm assuming Jump Force, is trash. Judge says I want Vash to stampede in that game. That would be an awesome addition to that game.
Yeah.
His super moves are half.
Spike. Is Spike in that game? Have they talked about Spike? That's who I want. I'm buying it if Spike is in the game.
If Spike's in the game, we have to get Mugen. We have to get Mugen.
Yeah.
We have to get Mugen. But they need to add Deku and All Might to Jump Force. That would be pretty cool, actually. Yeah, and Nintendo Direct said he did his job marketing wise. Yes, you did. So we're not gonna waste too much time. We're gonna go into the next topic, and that's Nintendo won the NPD for July, which it was actually their highest numbers since July of 2009. So that's pretty. It took them over 10 years to do this well, and Octopath Traveler was the best-selling game for July as well. So considering the releases of this year, would you guys possibly agree that Nintendo is setting up for their strongest holiday season as of yet? Meaning they're going to try to topple over what they did last year for their holiday season.
I think that's going to be a tough call. I want to say yes, because all the NPD stuff is great, and it sets up like a really positive kind of holiday sales season, and Smash is obviously going to do like so well. Mm-hmm. I think it's possible. Like, it's stupid to write Nintendo out. It could be their best holiday season for sure. Mm-hmm. But for some reason, I feel like because the Pokemon game that's coming out isn't like the real Pokemon game, and I mean, I know it's going to do well for Pokemon fans, but it's not going to do what next year's Pokemon game is going to do.
No.
And I honestly, Smash is gonna sell so well for sure, but I don't even know if it can sell what Mario Odyssey sells. I mean, I think Mario Odyssey might ultimately be the better selling game. So I just, without any other hitter, Mario Party, I don't think is gonna make a big difference. So I don't know. It's gonna be a great holiday sales for sure. I don't think it's gonna flop, but is it gonna do better than last year? I don't know if I'm ready to commit entirely. I don't know what you guys think, but I'm not quite there.
I'll hold my thoughts to the end. I want to hear what you guys think.
I'm not good with predicting all this crap. I just, I don't I mean, numbers when it comes to sales, I'll tell you honestly, I don't care. As long as the consoles are doing well and we're starting to see more games, I want to know more about the games that are coming, not so much about how much the consoles are selling. Obviously, the console sales are going to result in what we would see in terms of third parties wanting to support it due to the sales that are out there. I understand that it's important, but I mean, I think like Rob was saying, you know, with the Pokemon game that's coming out this holiday, they probably were aiming to do a little bit more than what we'll see move. I think Smash is going to be probably the biggest thing of the holiday, in my opinion, just because it looks so incredible. And Smash has just such a big name that we'll definitely see that. I anticipate that or Call of Duty just literally being the top selling game this holiday. Obviously, Call of Duty always does well. Just based off of its history of being like a staple in the multiplayer community. I don't know how people feel about this one particularly, but I think that it's really just going to be a toss-up between Smash and Call of Duty.
I think Red Dead might also do really, really well. So
yeah, I think Red Dead's going to do great too. I just don't think it's going to be on like the level of like a Grand Theft Auto. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's fair. What about you, your player too?
I think there's a pretty good chance that it could do better than last year. And the reason I say that is because a lot of my friends who were multi-platform gamers, right? These are people that had, you know, PS4 and Xbox and Nintendo consoles in previous generations.
Right.
Even some of them were hesitant to jump on the Nintendo Switch train last year because they were like, you know, there's just not that many games up for it yet that are exclusives, or the things that I'm hearing about that are coming out are things that I already played on the Wii U, so there wasn't a lot of incentive. So I had a lot of people that kind of held back. Now, granted, this is obviously very anecdotal, but I think the combination of the fact that you know, you are going to get Smash, which obviously has its own drawing power. But then, you know, games like Super Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild are still super valid. And people who once made the argument to be like, hey, I'm not going to buy a system just for one game. I don't care how good Breath of the Wild is, or I don't care how good Mario Odyssey is. You know, now when you start staring down Mario Party, Smash, you know, Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, and let's say there's one that I'm missing here. I'm sure another Splatoon. I mean, there are a lot of exclusive experiences now, or at least more than you know would hold weight against the argument of, well, there's only like one or two games. And that's to say nothing of the fact that they did do a restock on the NES Classic Edition. You know, 2DSs are dirt cheap now, and that still has a stellar library of games available for it. You know, I think that a combination of all those factors coming together, plus I think we're going to get a pretty decent influx of people who played Pokemon Go, and they see this Pokemon Let's Go as this approachable, you know, again, an approachable on-road back into that universe if they strayed away from it, or maybe for the first time if they were looking for a way to get into it but not be completely overwhelmed by the things that those core entries offer. I think it's going to be a good year for them.
You see, your player too, you actually touched on the point that I was going to make, and I wanted to remind people that it's not just Smash and it's not just Pokemon Let's Go for this holiday season. You also have Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and you have Splatoon 2 to add to that library. And possibly, some people may argue this, but if it continues to do well, you possibly have Octopath to go in that same discussion now. If Octopath consistently does well,
to say nothing of Octopath. Good point.
If it does consistently well from now until December, then that's another game you have to add to the holiday season list. So, like, it's not just Mario and Zelda anymore, because primarily that was the running joke of 2017. The Switch only has 2 games, Mario and Zelda. Well, now it's not just 2 games anymore. You have a choice of games. So if you don't like Zelda so much, you don't like Mario, you can get Mario and Smash, or Mario and Pokemon. If you don't like Mario too much, you can get Zelda and Smash, or Zelda and Pokemon, or Zelda and Splatoon and Octopath. You have a bigger combination of games you can choose from, which is why I feel as though Nintendo knows what they're doing, because they're still aiming for 20 million units sold. If we look at how the year is progressing, Mario Odyssey, Zelda Breath of the Wild, Splatoon 2, even ARMS, even... Jeez, I can't believe I mentioned this game. 1-2 Switch. All of these games are still selling consistently. Most of Nintendo's first-party games have sold over 1 million units in less than a year's time. So most of those games are up for grabs for the holiday season. I would even throw in Mario Tennis Aces. The fact that they have that game as a bundle 1-2 Switch. If that bundle's still available come the holiday season, don't be surprised if there's a lot of parents buying that game, because parents, when Rax, you own a game store, you know this, but some parents who come to the game store, they don't have any idea what games are selling, what games are hot. They rely on the store manager to tell them what should they buy. So
there'll probably be like new bundles too. I mean, there's
exactly.
gonna be a Pokemon and a Smash Brothers bundle.
Exactly.
There's even like a leak about that. I think you guys make like really, really good points too about last year's library. And I think that there's obviously no question that the current value of the Switch is like through the roof. Like not only with last year's library, only a few games so far this year came out that have really been worth it. But by the time Smash and Pokemon and Mario Party come out, like obviously the value of the Switch is going to be incredible. Octopath, of course, which is amazing. I think that what I think about is a lot of people throughout this year have probably been buying their Switches already based on last year's library. So when we come to the holiday this year, it totally could be like one of their best holidays ever. It could be better than last year for sure, because like Smash is that X factor. But I also just think that a lot of people might have already bought their 2017 version of the Switch throughout this year. And then Octopath definitely moved a couple of units for sure. So I really think that this year's holiday will rely specifically mostly on the newest games. And so there is, Let's Go Pokemon and Smash and Mario Party. We're going to get Diablo, which is going to be great, but also an old game a lot of other people have played. I'm waiting for Dark Souls, but a lot of people have played that. I can't wait for that. I've been holding out for it. But I just don't know. I guess it's totally possible it's their best holiday ever, but I'm just not I can't put a lock on it because I just don't know. I feel like they needed another one or two. Like if Fire Emblem made it out this year, then maybe I would say, yeah, it's almost a lock.
Gotcha.
But since Fire Emblem slipped,
fair.
Yoshi's nowhere, Daemon X Machina's next year, Bayonetta's not coming out this year. Like there's a lot of things that could have made it a lock, but a lot of those things have now slipped. So it's just going to be really interesting to see for sure. Like I hope it does better. So.
Well, I will say if Nintendo doesn't pull things they did with the Wii U and announce games 1 year and they don't come out 5 years later, like Xenoblade Chronicles X, if they actually go through with it, then to what you're saying, then 2019 may look like a very powerful year for the Switch.
Oh yeah.
If what you're saying, if what you're saying is true, if they don't hit the holiday season, you have the Daemon X Machina, you have Yoshi, because Yoshi's now confirmed in 2019, and then you have the new Pokemon game by itself. So Daemon X Machina, Yoshi, Pokemon, and then hopefully
Bayonetta probably,
Metroid Prime 4 probably.
Metroid Prime 4 is gonna happen. Next year is gonna be off the freaking hook, and I've been saying it for so long. I'm telling you guys, Animal Crossing is gonna happen soon. It's gonna get announced soon. And I'm not even a fan of the series.
Me neither. But that's gonna sell units.
A lot.
That's gonna sell a lot of units.
So I think that could be next year. I've been saying it'd be 2018 forever, and it hasn't happened. But I'm gonna now move my goalpost to 2019, and I think it's got to happen in 2019. Fire Emblem too. So.
Does the Switch already have more exclusives than the Xbox One?
It does.
I wouldn't doubt it. It's the Xbox, and that's the thing. The Xbox One was like the first one I got. And it's just depressing.
Yeah.
The Switch is coming up there with a lot of exclusives, but this next piece of news, which I'm actually excited to share. Like I've been so hyped about this. Grandia 1 and 2. Langrisser 1 and 2 HD remakes were announced for the Switch. I need your thoughts on this. It's like first of all, for those of you who don't know, Grandia 2 has a special place in my heart because I got that game on my 14th birthday with Phantasy Star Online 1 for my Dreamcast. Played both of those games. I lost so many hours of my life. Well, invested is a better word.
I was gonna say you enriched so many hours.
Invested so many. Right. Invested so many hours of my life, and you know what? Come this winter, I'm prepared to do it again. So, if Sega goes out and is watching, please bring PSO1. Make a PSO1 remake. Yeah. I'm fine with not getting PSO2. I get it. I get the politics. Give us a PSO1 HD remake. That will sell bananas. But Who wants to go at this first?
So I'll go with this first just because I'll have the least to contribute to this conversation because I had not played those games and I knew you were excited, but I was like, man, you're gonna sound like an idiot if you don't do a little bit of research before this starts. So, but what I will say in terms of like RPGs that I wouldn't mind seeing get an HD remake, and honestly, one I've played and a couple of them that I haven't, and the reason I haven't is why I want to see them remade. And I wouldn't mind seeing a Parasite Eve remake and see that come to the Switch. I don't know if that would ever happen. I know not everybody loved that game, but I enjoyed it.
Good stuff.
And then two others that I'll say is Vagrant Story, which is a game I never played, but I
Yes.
heard good things about and I wanted to check out. And the other one that I'll say is one from the 16-bit era that I've been trying to find a copy of and have not as of yet, and that would be Secret of Evermore.
Those are great games.
I'll keep an eye open for you.
Many thanks.
I have one remake that I would want that I don't think it's ever gonna come. I want Super Mario RPG remake. That's what I want.
I was going to say that because I figured it'd be a lock, but all right.
I want Super Mario RPG remake.
Square seems to be. I mean, I know like Nintendo technically owns it, but Square and Nintendo seem to be slowly building their relationship. So that would be a good game to kind of eke out to sort of show that support.
You know,
And people would play the hell out of that game.
I
That
was
would be
one of
really
them.
Yeah. So I mean, I can jump in here a little bit, and it's actually funny you said that, Josh, because I also haven't played those games. You're not the only one.
Right on, thank you.
Yeah,
Feels
honestly,
so-
like, I've never been like the biggest RPG fan. So what's really interesting is these Langrisser games that everyone's talking about. I've never heard of them. So
I never
everyone's-
played those either, actually.
Okay, there you go.
So
But I know, I mean, I saw everyone getting really excited when they were announced, and like, I totally am stoked for everyone who loves the Grandia games. I am familiar with those, even though I never played them. I'm stoked for everyone who loves the Grandia games. They're getting their remake and these Langrisser games and all that. Like, it's an awesome feeling when a game you love gets that. That's how I feel about Resident Evil 2 and the Dark Souls remaster and all that stuff. So, I think it's really great. But since I've never been a big RPG fan, like I have a really short list of a couple of games I would like to see remade. Probably my favorite true RPG I've ever played is Tales of Symphonia. So I'd love to see that one get a remake. And I know that at E3, one of the Tales games did get a remake, and it was a Tales of Xillia, I think, was the one, or one of them got announced as a remake coming pretty soon. So I'd love to see Tales of Symphonia, and I really love the Mass Effect games, so, you know, bring the Mass Effect trilogy over. On the Genesis...
I would be
that
okay
would
with that.
Yeah. And on the Genesis, there was a game called Beyond Oasis that I really loved. And there was a sequel to that I can't remember what it was called. Something else of Oasis on the Saturn. If those games got remade, that'd be pretty cool, too. So that's my RPG, that's the extent of my RPG knowledge.
Nice. You're not too out of touch.
Yeah, that Tales of Symphonia, man. I think people would lose their minds for that game. That was a really popular game on the GameCube. So I'd love to see that happen. And it was Namco, and Bandai Namco was working with Nintendo really well. So maybe there's something in the back pipeline that could happen. You never know.
That could possibly work. I would like to see. I would want to see what they're gonna do with Square Enix. Square Enix is, building their relationship. Everyone's talking about. I mentioned Super Mario RPG, but I also want to mention Grandia 3 because not people know there is a third installment to that game, and Square Enix is the publisher to that game. So I just said, hopefully they could work on that too. They could somehow work to get that game over to the Switch. And the other game, it's out in Japan already, but I want a Seiken Densetsu collection. I want the Seiken Densetsu 2 to come to the Switch. Seiken Densetsu 3. It's Secret of Mana 2, Seiken Densetsu 3. But Rax, how about you for this conversation?
Well, I'm going to be the oddball here and just go ahead and say I've never played any of these games.
You weirdo.
Yeah, I don't know. I've actually seen Grandia 2 for the Dreamcast come through my store a couple times, and I've meant to pick it up just because looking at the back cover art and stuff, it looks really, really interesting. So from an outsider standpoint that has never played the games but has wanted to, it's amazing. So being able to pick those games up and probably not have to pay an arm and a leg, or try to go out there and try to find a nice copy that's not scratched up or beat up or something like that. It's good because then I will, be able to experience the game for the first time. So,
That's why.
Is it pricey when you've seen it in your store? Is it expensive, that game?
It's not really expensive. It's basically like, I want to say it's around $30 to $40.
That's not bad.
So it's not too bad, but when you're paying $30 to $40 for a Dreamcast game and maybe like the case is missing or it's not in the best condition, like it kind of sucks.
Yeah, you probably pay $40 for the whole entire collection in this case.
Yeah.
So,
when are these all coming out? Do you guys know the dates for Grandia and Langrisser and all that?
Langrisser, I think is next year, but Grandia, they said winter this year.
Oh, see, man, people are just so excited for that, man. It's pretty cool.
That's another reason. I mean, that's another perk of just even having a Switch. You know, if you were someone who wanted these games to play on the go, because for me, playing games like Zelda Breath of the Wild, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, even Octopath, it really changed my perspective how I want to play RPGs in the future. You know, I want to play my RPGs on the go because as someone who has a day job, as someone who runs a YouTube channel, as someone who has a family, it is so hard to just lock in and play an RPG straight on my own personal couch. So being able to take these games on the go is a huge plus for me.
Yeah, I still remember when Xenoblade Chronicles 2 came out, everyone was kind of like down on the resolution, like, oh, when you play in portable, Digital Foundry showed us it's like 360p, and everyone was all mad about that. And honestly, like, I'm a simple man, dude. I was still just like, the fact that I could play that game on my Switch portably, my mind was blown. I was like, this is the best way to play a game like this. It's so cool.
Exactly.
I'm with.
Yeah, and that dynamic scaling for portable mode, like, it's something I don't even notice. Like, forget all that, like, the technical details. Like, the fact that I can have a game on that scale, or, like, a Skyrim on that scale in handheld, or Breath of the Wild is absolutely phenomenal. Like, I don't mind if I have to take a graphical hit for that experience.
Yeah, a lot of people don't have that mentality, but I am totally with you. It's like, that's what's cool about the Switch, man. I think it's more than a novelty. I think it literally can aid in the gaming experience. Like, yes, you could have your 60-inch TV or your little whatever 6-inch like Switch screen, but the ability to do that really can't be understated. Like, I take advantage of it in my house all the time. So.
Same here. There's different times, I feel like the Wii U was a good prototype to what the Switch is now, because there have been times where, I would give up the main TV for my wife or either for my son to watch TV, and I would just switch to the mini screen of my Wii U's gamepad to play the game. Now for the Switch, I can just take the whole entire console and go in a separate room, not worry about disconnecting. Exactly. And you get decent battery life out of that. You get a good, I would say, people complain about the battery life, and I'm like, listen, 3 to 6 hours, that's a normal play session. They promise you a normal play session on the go, which to me is a very reasonable battery lifespan. So with that, I want to just jump into, since we're talking about the Switch and things being on the go, and there's been talks of a new Switch revision. Quite
the convo.
I'm sorry, continue.
Well, what's so funny?
It's just, I was just thinking about, it's funny that I'm wearing this shirt because I was just thinking about RGT's video about that, and just to think about Nintendo's standpoint on 4K gaming in general. Obviously, Nintendo's never a company that you can really predict what they're going to do, but just based off the standpoint, it just doesn't make, if we're talking about the timeline that we're thinking about and people saying that it's going to be early next year, I just don't see that happening. But it, is it out of the question entirely? I don't think so. But also, they also have NVIDIA working very closely with them. NVIDIA just put out some new, pretty powerful graphics cards, and who's to say that they're not looking into more powerful mobile graphics cards or whatever would go into the Switch anyway, as well. So it's not too outlandish, but at the same time, I think it's a little too soon for the Switch as of right now. That's just my standpoint on that.
To add to what you're saying, I like you said, I feel as though that some time needs to pass by, so hardware, mobile hardware could be a little bit more affordable to build a more affordable tablet, because you have to make sure the tablet still works with the dock and everything works together. But one thing I think they will probably add in there is stronger battery life. Everyone is thinking about more memory, more storage space. I'm like, yo, up the battery life. Up the battery life so you can actually let it be mobile 1080p. 1080p 60 frames per second is, to me, is better than a mobile 4K at this point. Make it 1080p 60 frames per second mobile, because mobile 4K 60 frames per second is still a rarity. So it'll be a little bit better, better gaming experience if you make it 1080p 60 frames per second mobile, and you give it stronger battery life, and you can make sure it can run that well. You're gonna be good. Now, I mentioned 1,001 times with the Switch revision. I said they could just come up with a tablet. The Switch is very close to being the first modular console of all time. The Joy-Cons you could buy separately. The dock you could buy separately already. All you need to do is make a separate tablet. You could buy a different tablet tier. So you have a tablet that has the original, you know, vanilla Nintendo Switch. Then you can buy an upgraded model of the Switch with a different tablet, which is about, let's say the tablet's $200. This way they could put more hardware in the tablet, and this way you don't have to buy a whole new console to play your games all over again. And this way, this is where the cloud saves will come in, and they make the cloud saves work for every game, and you can move all of your saved data files to the next Switch console and make it transfers that way.
I'm just going to say, I don't think there's any way they're going to do a hardware revision at this point. Or if they do, it's under a very specific set of circumstances. Now, the reason I say they're not going to is because I think at this point, there's no way Nintendo's going to want to risk any marketplace confusion, especially prior to the holiday shopping season, that they're banking so much on moving 20 million units. And to release any kind of a revision, even just well, first off, if you do it right after the new year, then everybody who got one for Christmas is going to be furious, right? Yeah. If they do it prior to that, then it's going to create confusion where they're like, oh, well, which one am I supposed to get? Where it's like, you know, a PS4 is a PS4, or a PS4 Pro is a PS4 Pro. And this is one of the things that I complained about specifically with the 2DS and 3DS platforms. You had the 3DS, the new 3DS, new Nintendo 3DS, and then they had attachments like the Circle Pad Pro, and I feel like there were just so many weird revisions of that could have been confusing in its own merit. But I won't say that they won't do perhaps a silent revision where they do things like perhaps improve the way like heat dissipation on the inside of those units, sort of the same way that they did what was it, the Falcon chipset for the Xbox 360 whenever they tried to address the Red Ring of Death around 2006, I think. So I think if they're going to do a revision, it's going to be one that we're not going to know anything about. But I don't foresee any sort of marketing anytime soon where they're going to say, oh yeah, now we've got the Nintendo Switch Pro. I think that would be a horrible idea.
Cool. Yeah, I definitely think that it is possible. I like what you're saying, Josh. A lot of your conversation about like segregating the market, which I spent like 20 minutes talking about in my own video. Like that is a risky thing to do, man, to start confusing the market and alienating some people.
Right,
and
right.
That's why the whole rumor that's specifically focused on possibly making a Switch that would only when docked would play certain games or certain games.
I'm not for that idea.
Yeah, like Resident Evil 2, like could only play on this new version, not the old one. That stuff gets really dangerous. But I do still think it's possible that they do it, just not nearly as soon as this.
I think they could, but not soon.
Yeah, it's definitely not soon. I mean, I don't even know if I would say like holiday 2019. It would probably be 2020 or beyond. But I've thought about that rumor quite a bit since it came out, and like I made a video and a lot of people discussed it. And I was like, you know what? When I think about what that rumor is saying it would do, removing the specs, because I know there was specs in there and I don't know crap diddly about specs, so I'm not going to pretend to have anything on that. But just like some of the bigger ideas that rumor was about, like the 4K and so powerful that some games can't even play on this current Switch, but they could on the new Switch. I started to think about what if what we're actually hearing is just like the very like inside baseball beginner rumors of what Nintendo might be working on for the true successor to the Switch. Not like a Pro for this Switch, but a Switch Part 2 or whatever they do next. Because if the next console that they made was still a hybrid device that they might call the Switch whatever, and if it had these new specs, it did all these new things, it could only play certain games, but was backwards compatible with the current Switch, well, maybe the rumors confuse people to thinking they're talking about the current Switch, but really it's just like early inside baseball of the next Switch. I don't know that I believe it, but it was an idea that it was in my head, and I thought it was worth kind of just sort of putting out there for people to start thinking about. Because even if the next thing after the Switch is like 5 years away, Nintendo's still working on it now. That's how.
Oh
that
yeah,
happens.
for sure.
Like, they're working on the next thing now. Sony's been working on the PS5 for probably 3 or 4 years. Like, so I don't know. It could be like some crossed wires behind the scenes, and so the rumor got out as the wrong idea, but is really supposed to be the follow-up to the Switch. So I don't know.
I gotcha.
I'm putting that out there. I'm just thinking crazy. I'm putting it out there. So
It's something. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, man.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say something that you said there when you said that you don't care about specs. I like that because I feel like Nintendo takes a very Apple sort of strategy in that regard. And I feel like Microsoft is taking not a great strategy, especially with the Xbox One X, because they're like, it's the most powerful console for all these reasons. But truthfully, you know, it's not that people really care about the raw specs usually as much as they do the experience that they can get from the device that you're trying to sell them. And I feel like Nintendo is killing it in that regard.
I agree. I think that what we're seeing there, and I like Microsoft and I love my Xbox One, but what you're saying makes sense to me because I think it shows that Microsoft is confused on what people truly want. That messaging would have worked a lot early on in the 7th generation. Nowadays, power and graphics and everything, I think it sounds good when people close their eyes and think about it, but people nowadays have caught on to the fact that it doesn't really make much of a difference anymore. And Nintendo's kind of exposing that with the Switch being underpowered, but being one of, if not the best gaming experience you can have with different features. And not the first time Nintendo's done that. That's what they did with the Wii and the 3DS and DS and all these things. So
right.
I think that, again, I like Microsoft. I'm excited they're making more Xboxes and not giving up. But I think that they're confused on what people really want because PC gaming is so big. They're like, oh, we got to throw a bunch of big fancy numbers and you know, acronyms and stuff at them and tell them we got the most powerful thing because that's what gamers want. But they clearly don't because the Xbox One X hasn't made like a really big splash. So
right.
To add to that conversation, I think people forget that Nintendo, out of these big three companies, is the video game making company. Sony and Microsoft are not video game making companies. They are entertainment companies.
Yes.
When you look at it from that standpoint, then you understand their marketing agenda is on a totally different. They have a totally different paradigm when it comes to marketing in general. Nintendo markets to gamers. Sony and Microsoft markets it towards people who want to be entertained. And it's funny because there's a lot of people who come at Nintendo for not doing some of the same things that Sony is doing. I made a tweet. People want Nintendo to be a mini PS4, basically. Everything I hear about Nintendo, what Nintendo's not doing, or what Nintendo's going to do, is somewhat related to what PS4 is doing. And I find that funny. Literally almost everything PS4 has done is through the coattails of Nintendo. Mm-hmm. Their VR is through Nintendo's Wiimotes. Nintendo, yeah, they want Nintendo to do a Switch upgrade. They're calling that the Switch Pro, which the PS4 upgrade is called the PS4 Pro. So it's like everyone wants Nintendo to do what Sony is doing, and not so much Microsoft. Everyone hates Microsoft since that 2013 conference.
It wasn't helping them, man.
No.
I mean, people still want that DRM. No,
listen. I still say today that was a knee-jerk reaction towards a lot of people. I really feel if Microsoft stuck to their guns, they probably will be in a better position than they are now. If they stuck to their guns back then. The fact that they didn't stick by their guns, I think that's what really shot them in the foot. But
that's tricky. I could see that going either way.
It can.
Right, but I mean, you never know. It's interesting to think about that alternate timeline where they were like, "Screw you guys, we're doing it anyway." And who knows what would have happened?
Because Nintendo does that all the time. True. Nintendo sticks to their guns all the time.
Nintendo is better at it than Microsoft.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. But the thing I would say I really love about the things I love what I'm seeing right now is the genesis of the next generation. We're seeing the genesis of the PS5, the new Xbox, and I'm seeing everyone is starting afresh. When I see Microsoft, one thing I will say about E3, Microsoft had the best put together conference. and it shows that they are listening to their community. It shows that they're willing to make changes. Like Phil Spencer is somebody who's trying to change the whole Xbox gaming arena around into something that is truly great. And I'm for it because I love competition in gaming. When there's competition in gaming, the best products come out, the best games come out, the best new hardware come out. When you saw Sega versus Nintendo with Genesis and Super Nintendo, that was one of the best times of gaming. And
that was the best time in gaming. I'm stating it right now. That was the best. 16-bit forever, man. It was never better than that.
Like, see, there you go. So I gave room for a lot of people to disagree because some people like the N64 era and the PS1 era, but I will say seeing that competition was amazing. And I feel as though we can see that again. I feel as though Sony is trying to pick their cards right because they know that Xbox is stepping it up. They know they can't compete against Nintendo in mobile, so they need to do something that's going to get people to come and buy a PlayStation 5 day one. So I'm sticking by my theory that Final Fantasy VII Remake is going to be a day one purchase for the PS5. I'm sticking by my theory by that.
That's a hell of a launch title, man. If they do a Last of Us thing where they have like a Last of Us port, if those two games launch either day and date as the PS5 or within the first like month or two, holy crap, dude!
It's gonna. They're gonna.
No, I'm just agreeing. Like, yes, like they're gonna kill it if they do that. I think actually, I think Microsoft is doing the same thing with Halo, by the way.
Yeah.
I totally think Halo is going to be a launch for the next Xbox. It's either going to be like a cross-gen where it's an Xbox One and a next Xbox, like with Breath of the Wild or with Last of Us, or it's just going to be a straight launch title for the next Xbox. But they know they need to launch that next console with an insane killer app. And the fact that Halo Infinite's so silent right now just tells me that that's going to be 2 or 3 years from now, it's launching the next Xbox. So I think that both Sony and Microsoft are doing that.
Definitely. So, Rax, anything you want to add to this?
No.
Kind of. Okay.
Yeah, I kind of zoned out and started thinking about Castlevania stuff. So, just don't mind me.
Don't worry. All right, guys, we're gonna just open up for Q&A. Anyone in the chat, if you have any questions you want to ask the panel, you can ask us away. Meanwhile, I'm gonna go ahead and just open the door and talk about this new Indie Showcase. What do you guys
Hold on, before we move on. So, just talking about the Nintendo revision again. Do you guys remember when Nvidia released the little portable? It was called the Shield and it was So back then, that released in 2013. And that thing had graphics capabilities of like the 360 and PS3, basically. So to think that the Switch could possibly get like an upgraded version that has better graphics is not, like, after thinking about it for a while, it's not too outlandish. Because if it's 2018, that's a 5-year gap, and who's to say they haven't created some crazy thing and maybe Nintendo didn't, opt for the best mobile graphics just to keep it in a certain price point. And if they were to release something at maybe like a $400, $500 price point after the popularity of the console has already like gotten to this point, I could totally see it happening. But like Rob was saying before about the segregating the audience by saying like, hey, only the people that are looking for these hardcore experiences are going to have to pay this $500 price point, as where if you just want your casual experience. But at the same time, I don't know. It's hard to say because you also have the Xbox One and the Xbox One X out there where people are paying for that 4K experience. But if you don't really care about that 4K experience, don't have a 4K TV, you kind of opt for like the Xbox One S, which is like half the price, like maybe 3/4 of the price.
Right.
I don't know. I'm still debating all of this stuff in my brain. I'm just kind of trying to wrap my head around it.
It's a wacky situation, and it's like, it kind of feels like it's uncharted territory for Nintendo, but then you're also like, but they've also done it before, like with the 3DS. So
Yeah,
and the DS.
true.
Like there was like 3 versions of the DS, and now there's 3DSs and XLs and 2DSs and stuff. So
Yep.
it's tricky to just because it's both happened before and never happened before. So who knows, man?
Yeah.
One thing I want to say is we have 30 viewers. I would love 25 likes. I'm just saying.
Get some likes. What is it? What is it that all the cool YouTubers say? Smash that like button.
Smash it, body slam it, choke slam it, whatever
Punch
you do.
Whatever makes likes happen.
But it's interesting. It's like the whole talk of the Nintendo Switch has just been interesting all around, and it's, I think, not just from a video game and from an entertainment point of view, but just even from a tech point of view. It's a fascinating piece of hardware that you could literally take games like this on the go. I said on Twitter, like, Nintendo Switch with this new relationship that they have with Blizzard is easily now the most diverse mobile handheld on the market now. It's like you cannot find another handheld that has this many diverse mobile games and that can provide an experience as good as the Switch. And because they're attacking the mobile market, that is a dangerous territory. That brings us back to the Pokemon Let's Go talk, because mobile gamers, I don't care what no one says, mobile gamers will spend the most money. Ask somebody how much they will spend on Candy Crush. There are people who spend hundreds of dollars on Candy Crush and microtransactions, which blows my mind.
They gotta crush that candy, man. It costs money. You gotta crush it.
But I'm gonna go ahead and open up to Q&A. And Quantum L said, I think we're going to see the E3 and Gamescom demo of Cyberpunk 2007 sometime next month. What do you think? 2077 sometime next month. What do you think? Not really too much into Cyberpunk, so I'm gonna pass that question on to the panel because I'm kind of indifferent about that game.
I'm pretty excited for the game. Go ahead, Josh, if you had something to say. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I've only seen a little bit of the pre-rendered footage from the E3 coverage that was there, but I'll never forget. I'll say this about it: like in 2013, I think when we first got like the first rumblings of Cyberpunk 2077, I remember writing an article and like 10 things to get you pumped while you wait for Cyberpunk 2077. Little did I know I would still be talking about it 5 years later.
3 presidential elections.
Right. Yeah, just ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, that game was first shown off with that weird, like, CG trailer of that girl, right? And there was, like, a bullet that was moving past her head or something.
Yeah.
It's just a CG thing. No one was thinking about The Witcher at the time. It was just like, oh, this crazy, crazy cool game. So I missed Avidan. Was the question about a demo? Was that what he was asking? Or what did he ask about?
Yeah, he said, no, Gamescom demo. So he was asking, what do we think about, do we think about seeing Cyberpunk sometime next month?
Oh, I mean, I think so. Yeah, but here's the thing: is that game, to my knowledge, doesn't have a date, right? Because I feel like that game is pretty. I could almost see that game slipping from 2019 and being a 2020 release. So it's really hard to predict. Really
Definitely.
But I'm pumped. It looks great. I can't wait for it.
Rags, you have anything you want to add about this?
I haven't really seen too much on the Cyberpunk game. I saw the trailer for it and really didn't pay too much mind after that. I'm just too hyped for so many other things that it's just been an afterthought of everything.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of games coming at us pretty soon.
Yeah.
So, like, it's pretty insane. The next 7 months are going to be like insanity.
My wallet's gonna hate me.
Oh yeah.
My wallet's gonna hate me, but it's gonna have to take it. KG, what do y'all think about Nintendo doing a cheaper version of the Switch, like the 2DS, instead of an increased power Switch? I think it'll be kind of foolish, in a sense, because and not to say your question is foolish. I'm saying that what Nintendo would do will be foolish on that regard, because the Switch is already being criticized as being underpowered. So to give it less power, I don't see that as being wise. I don't see how that would be even feasible on even working from a marketing standpoint. I think right now what they have is just right. and it's not too little, it's not too much. It's right on the money with the power they currently have for the Switch. But those are my thoughts.
I could see maybe like a price cut for the current Switch might be something that would achieve the same effect. But I do think there's something to what he's asking though, and like we've discussed this on like the Spawncast like a long time ago. Something came up where like would Nintendo ever dare create a Switch, like a mini Switch that didn't have Joy-Cons that would separate? Basically, when that was meant to be almost essentially like a portable only device. And I remember we had like a big long conversation about it, and you know, everyone was split. Half the people thought it was a great idea that they would do, half the people thought they would never do it. And I don't really know if I think they would ever do it, but I think that would be a way to achieve what he's asking. If they were just like, yeah, you know, don't worry about the dock and the, you know, all these fancy Joy-Con motion things. Just like, here's just a handheld only unit that does play Nintendo Switch cards. Like, so maybe there's a reason to do that and sell that for $199. You know, price cut the current Switch to $250, release a mini version that's portable only for $199, or even like $179 or something. Like, I don't know that I expect them to do it, but it's something that could happen. So
I have to make a mistake. My bad, KG. KG said not less power. You said made cheaper. My bad. When you said cheaper, like the 2DS, I took that as less power because I'm looking at the actual parts that I have to go in. If it's going to be a cheaper model, it's going to be smaller. The other thing, just from putting things together, it's going to take a lot to jam all that in. The Switch is compact enough already, so to put everything in a smaller unit, there's going to have to be some compromise to take some things out. So that's why
might be a little thicker. Thick. I'm just kidding. I had to get a little weird there.
You weirdo.
But no, I feel as though when you make the Switch a little bit smaller, it's going to have to be some type of compromise that has going to be taken away from the experience of a regular Switch, to justify the price cut if you're going to make a cheaper version.
Well, it kind of stems back to what I was just talking about with the NVIDIA Shield. So, like, you know, just like what we were talking about in terms of maybe Nintendo not opting for like the highest grade graphics card or whatever that is available. Maybe there is something out there that's like slightly more powerful. Because I mean, cell phones have gotten insane. Just think about like the power that the iPhone X has, but obviously that's $1,000 phone. But it also has the name Apple on it, so we all know that increases the value by like $500. There may be technology out there that could make it possible, and I mean that's also not too outlandish to think either.
I'm not knocking the technology, but then it's like you said, you hit the technology.
But it wouldn't hit the cheaper.
That's exact. The price you hit the price volume. It's like the technology's there, but then it's gonna hit the cheap volume. Because I've been looking. For you to talk about phone, I'm looking at getting a new phone soon. So, we'll talk about that off stream. But let's see. I saw there was a question X Revolution said, and I want to make sure I get that. Thoughts on the next Indie Direct? I'm a little salty because the unannounced Direct, they're gonna put it when I'm not at work, and the Direct they do announce, I'm gonna be at work. So I'm like, can I win? Like, is there a Direct that I can do while I'm home?
Nope, not possible. You can't win. Nintendo said no. There's no winning.
I gotta wait. So I gotta stay off Twitter the whole day again, just so I can live stream the whole Direct for you guys again. So be prepared. You get the announcement now. I will live stream the Direct on that day when I get home.
Sweet. I think sorry, I just wanted to jump in on that. I think the cool thing about this Indies Direct is at least that they did confirm that there are unannounced games that we're going to see. So that's a rare thing. Even though we're only talking about indie games, like they're like, here's going to be a Nintendo Direct, and there's going to be new games you've never heard of. Like, that part is pretty cool. So I'm excited. I also just want No More Heroes to get confirmed for 2018. I'm really pissed about that. But other than that, we're getting new games, and that's pretty cool. So
I actually want to dive into that. I'm wondering what new games could we possibly get that are indie related. there's a lot of newer games that we saw that kind of caught my interest. The game that caught my interest the most from the last direct was Monster Boy. Monster Boy looks like it's gonna be a day one purchase for me, but
now that game was announced. That game's been around for a while.
Yeah,
though,
that
right?
was
I've
it was
heard
been
that
around for a
title.
while.
Yeah,
it was been around for a while.
From what I remember, and I made like a 13-minute video and I discussed this morning. From what I remember, last year they gave us that big Nindies showcase near the end of the year, like October, November time or something. That's when No More Heroes was first revealed. And again, I don't really follow indie games myself. A lot of people know that, but there was a lot of new games, I think, shown in that Nindies showcase, whatever they called it as well. There was like 16 or 17 games, and I think most of them were new. And a lot of those ended up making pretty big splashes. And so when I think about what unannounced games would we see next week, I think more about companies and partnerships. I think that's what people would have to look at. Like, what are companies that would develop games for the Switch? I think a lot of them will be multi-platform, but I think some might also be exclusive to the Switch. So I feel like that's the best way to predict what might happen, is what companies would make games.
That would be actually that would be good. I'm just, like I said, it's when I talk about the Switch, it's like I really don't have much to say as much. Like usually when I talk about video games, it's, well, what could they be doing better? Now I'm like, Nintendo's doing everything they can they can right now, so I'm kind of impressed with how they're going with things. I want to see how this end of year, like we talked about earlier, how these end of year sales are going to look, how their Q4 sales are going to look, and how they're going to move forward from this. Hold up. We had one more question from Quantum L. Do you think we'll see Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes? Whoa, there you go. Do you think Travis' touchdown will make it to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate? Wow.
Dude, yes.
That's actually a good. That's actually a good pick for Smash Ultimate. Actually,
I've been wanting Travis and Smash for years, and I made a top 5 wish list video like a long time ago, and Travis was my #1. I'm telling you, it's gonna happen. Suda even said he wants Travis in Smash like earlier this year. And there's just, I don't know. I think you can put money on it. It's going to happen, and it's going to be badass. I can't wait.
Quick question. First of all, this link, I think this comment's for you, Rags. Dark Link said Metroid Prime Trilogy. Please, Nintendo.
What?
Someone said Metroid Prime Trilogy. Please, Nintendo. Someone's asking for Nintendo doing Metroid Prime Trilogy. And I would buy it. Day one.
You said that was directed at me?
No,
I think that's more of a Rob.
Rob, it's been a long day. Rob, it's been a long day. It's been a long day.
Rob X?
My bad.
Rob X, the average.
My bad. It's been a long day.
Yeah, no, dude, Metroid Prime Trilogy, man. I've been crying to the heavens for that freaking game. And I think it could happen. So
I think so too.
It makes so much sense to release that game, right?
I mean, build extra hype for 4. I mean, that might be nice. Especially for people who are unfamiliar with the series or are like, see Metroid Prime 4 come out. They're like, well, what happened to the other 3? How do I play those games? And they don't want to go back and find a legacy console.
Mm-hmm.
But, we're going to go ahead. If there's no more questions, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up because I still have to stream Splatoon 2 tonight. And I probably need to get some small food in my system so I can actually have some energy. Because I've been second time.
You gotta eat, you gotta sleep, Avidan. You gotta do it.
Second time in a row that I messed up someone's name tonight. So
that's okay.
I need to go ahead and get some food in my system. But we're gonna go ahead and wrap. Whoa, we got one more question from Sebastian Clark. He said, "Do you guys think DS games could ever be implemented into the online service?" Wow.
Well, let me ask you guys a question. As a Metroid super fan, I should know this, but I don't. They released Metroid Prime Hunters, which was a DS game on the Wii U eShop like a year or two ago. Mm-hmm. And I still have the game, and I was like, I don't need to play this on my Wii U. So I never picked it up. But that game focused on online. Does anyone know if that game was only the campaign, or was the online stuff working for Metroid Prime Hunters? Does anyone know?
I totally forgot about that game.
I couldn't speak to it.
I couldn't speak about that, actually.
because if they did, then that would mean that I would think yes, they would do that. But if they didn't, then maybe not. So I don't know.
All right. Well, let's go ahead, wrap this up. Let's get the outros in. We're going to start off with Rob, since the camera's on you. Go ahead, shout your channel out, tell people what you do. Rob, everyone, if you are not subbed to Rob, Rob has an awesome channel. He is almost at 10K subscribers. That's a mighty landmark.
Creeping up.
So if you are not subscribed to his channel, make sure you go ahead and do that right now. In fact, I'm gonna help you out. I'm gonna help you out to subscribe to his channel. Yeah. There is his link.
Thank you.
Below. And Rob, go ahead and talk about your channel.
Awesome. Thanks so much, dude. I appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, my channel is kind of just this. It's not too fancy. It's just me talking about video games and mostly Nintendo, but I still try to cover a lot of things. I own all the consoles. I love a lot of non-Nintendo franchises, and I'm a fan of everything, but I do mostly focus on Nintendo and the Switch because Nintendo's my favorite. I think the Switch is the best console on the market right now, so yeah, it's, you know, Rule of Two Review. That's me, and it was really awesome. I know Rax really well. We've done a couple podcasts before, but Avidan, you and I have known each other online.
Yeah.
This is the first time we got to meet in person and do a podcast and stuff.
This was cool.
Super cool. Thank you for having me on, dude. It was a lot of fun. So.
Definitely gonna have you on again, man. This was great.
Sweet.
Rax, go ahead. Tell me about your channel, homie. Again.
Well, my channel is a channel. It's called Rax the Great. If you guys like watching streamers get mad and cuss a lot, then make sure to hit that subscribe button. No, seriously, like last night I was playing, was it last night?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. No, it was last night. I was watching it for a while.
I was insulting everything. There was a lot of profanity last night. So if you guys are watching the live stream last night, I'm very sorry. To your ears. But no, yeah. Yeah. I do everything from like live streams, edited videos. Yeah. I'm your standard YouTuber.
His channel's pretty great. So
it is. It's really great.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
So if you haven't already, his channel is right there in the chat. Go ahead and click it. Subscribe if you have not. And last, certainly but not least, Your Player 2. Tell me about your channel, man.
I'm Josh. My channel, Your Player 2, basically it's about helping other gamers who have channels, more pure gaming channels, I guess. I'm more of a gamer with a channel than, strictly speaking, a gaming channel. But generally my content focuses around helping you make better content for your own gaming channel. So that's basically done through basically YouTube tips on Mondays, gear and production tips on Fridays, and then a little bit of gaming where I do like multiplayer streams on Wednesdays where you can hang out, chat, talk about YouTube stuff if you'd like. And then usually on the weekends I'll play stuff just for fun, do some streams, new game pickups, that kind of thing. But yeah, you're running a gaming channel yourself and look for some things to kind of level up your game, no pun intended, also, you know, maybe swing by.
Yo, by the way, I saw a pretty epic picker.
A picker.
Whoa, I'm done. I'm out of here.
What?
A picker.
I saw a pretty epic.
This is he's gone. He's done. He's out. There's no more Rax. It's Rax the missing. Where is he? He's returned.
I'm definitely gonna go.
Third time's a charm, all right? Saw a pretty epic picture, okay, with you and a lot of other YouTubers. Enunciation here, all right? What was that experience like, man? You got to meet J-Love.
Oh, yeah. I got to meet Jay from the
it,
Game Chasers. J-Love. I'm trying to think of nostalgic numbnuts. Who else?
Yo, those
is there?
guys are so funny.
Yeah, dude, they're absolutely hilarious, and just really, all these people were just very chill, very down to earth, and it was very weird for me because I would imagine much in the same way, Rob, you know, kind of seeing Avidan face to face for the first time here. For me, it was very strange to see people who I'd only seen them sort of like these entertainment abstractions on a screen in person for the first time at the Southeast Game Exchange last weekend, and they were all just a bunch of phenomenal people. It was a great time, and who else was there? Back in the day, gamer Tony, who I'd never met before. And NES Addict Jay. I'm trying to remember everybody right now. You put me on the spot, and I'm like pulling up my Twitter over here, like who was in this picture? But
that's cool. I went to the Portland Retro Gaming Expo the year before last because that's in the area where I live, and I got to meet Pat the NES Punk and Ian, of course, which is really cool. But the reason I went was to meet the Angry Video Game Nerd who was there, and I got to meet him, and it is so weird, especially somebody of that level who's that famous.
Right.
Like breaking that fourth wall is just really insane. But he was like the coolest dude. He's really quiet and shy, and he's also not very tall. He's about as tall as me. I'm not a very tall dude. So.
I'm not.
Yeah, I would really like to meet James someday because he seems like he'd be a pretty chill dude as well.
He was really chill. We had to wait in a long line, but we got to attend his like kind of panel, and I got to ask him like a live question during the panel and stuff too, because I've been following James since way back.
Right.
So, yeah, it's really cool.
Cool. So, if you guys are somehow following this channel or you're in the stream for the first time, you don't know who I am. My name is Avidan Smith. I do original soundtrack reviews for video games, also do gaming opinions, and a whole bunch of live streams. And
we catching a raid right now, Avidan?
Wait, what?
I've seen this happen before on my channel.
I think we are catching a
raid. Q&A right now.
Right at the end, yeah.
Right at the end too.
Thanks for rating, everyone. Bye.
Oh,
and we're out.
The irony. The irony.
You see one raid pop up and you're just like, it's the calm before the storm. Here it comes.
Oh, the irony. Yeah, OJ's right. So to OJ, I said, what's up? Yeah. Yo, everyone. All right, you know what?
OJ is the bro.
Hold up.
Let him get some questions in.
You know what? Let's get some questions in. Come on in. You're just in time. Come on in.
Oh, look who it is.
Come on in. El Chupacabra, what's good?
Am I late?
What's up, OJ?
Oh,
hey,
what up, homie?
I wasn't looking at the right screen.
Am I late, guys? I'm terribly sorry.
We're like closing out. You caught us at outros.
98%.
I'm horrible. Am I? I'm a bad person.
That's so funny.
Wow.
My life's
what a really
just
awesome.
ended.
What an entrance.
You just came in time for outros. Tell them about your channel.
BM, thank you for subbing, homie.
OJ's like, I came in here just to say goodbye.
You know, this has been a great podcast, guys. I mean, there's been a lot of interesting topics. This has been a great podcast.
What do you think about?
I mean, I did so much in this podcast. You know, I did so much. So yeah, I appreciate that. So you guys can.
I really loved your opinion when we were talking about the Switch revision. Your thoughts and opinions on that were
Yo, STK, thanks for subbing.
Yeah, subscribe for show.
Oh, this is hilarious. It's like OJ joined the battle in Smash Brothers.
That needs to be its own gift for sure. OJ joins the battle. OJ juices the competition.
I am here. I am here for you, Avidan. I know. I'm here for you. It's all good, man.
I am almost crying tears right. This is hilarious.
Yeah. You were just wrapping up a stream, OJ? Were you just wrapping up there?
Yeah. I just got done with my stream, so we rated. We set him off to Turbo Jesse and also to here. So I was like, you guys go to Turbo Jesse's channel if you want to watch Splatoon. And
that's what I'm going to do for you guys too. I'm actually getting his link set up right now, actually.
Yeah. So sorry guys, I was supposed to be on earlier, but my stream went really long with questions and stuff like that.
It's all good.
Yeah, and people were being like crazy supportive, so I was like, okay, I can't stop it here, and then like something else would happen, and something else happened. So I mean, I had to keep it going. So everyone was just like, yo, keep it going. So yeah, but I was supposed to be off like maybe like at an hour and a half, but it actually ended up going 3 hours and 17 minutes. So.
Dude, your streams are always super long, man. You just do
hey man,
it's good.
You are running your community. I said, hey, I will give you the link. If you can make it, you can make it. It's cool, man.
I made it.
You did at the finish line at that. So
I made it.
Yeah, I feel like Avidan was like 2 seconds away from probably pressing the off button, like the off live button. I swear it was gonna happen. And then all of a sudden, Josh was like, "Yo, dude, are you getting raided? I've seen a raid before."
Wait a second.
I was like, I've seen this happen.
Yeah.
Like a grizzled veteran.
Yeah. So. All right. Well, thank you guys for coming by. We really appreciate it. So, we're gonna go ahead and end the stream here. First of all, if you haven't already, if you've been watching the channel, been lurking the whole time, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And most of all, you make sure you share this replay with a friend. This is your Player 2, OJ, Rax, and Rob, and we're out. Peace.